Wait, she doesn't have one.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome the members of council, staff, members of the public to our June 23rd council meeting and call this meeting to order. I'd like to ask Mrs. Pearson, please, for the roll call.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Clark, Councillor Hyatt,
Present.
Councillor O'Hara,
Present.
Councillor Patel,
Present.
Councillor Welsh,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Field,
Present.
Mayor Loosely.
Present.
We have a quorum, Your Worship.
Thank you. And I'd like to ask Mrs. Pearson at this time for the Indigenous land acknowledgement, please. Bless you.
Pardon me.
Okay.
Pardon me again.
Last one.
We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. The town of Petrolia is located on the land associated with the Huron Tract Treaty number 29 of 1827. We express gratitude for the land where we live, work, and play, and we are committed to working respectfully with the land and the Indigenous peoples who have called this land home.
Thank you, Mrs. Pearson. At this time, I'd like to request that council declare a conflict of interest now or at the appropriate time and complete the necessary paperwork.
And Your Worship, we do have a conflict declared by Deputy Mayor Field on item 16B.
Okay, thank you. So noted. That'll move us on to item number 6, the adoption of the agenda. There's a motion there before you to adopt the agenda for tonight. I'll ask for a move and a second to put that on the floor. Moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Deputy Mayor Field. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to adopt as presented the agenda of the June 23rd, 2025 regular session of council.
Any questions from council? Councillor Welsh.
We request we remove the Petrolia Heritage minutes from this particular agenda.
Okay, do we need a motion for that,
We
Mrs.
can
Pearson? We
have
probably
that
would.
amended, yeah.
Okay,
And that's moved by Councillor Welsh.
seconded by Deputy Mayor Field. And that's the minutes of the Heritage Committee be removed from the agenda.
Is that Your Worship?
So I'll ask council, any questions? All those in favor?
Why are we removing?
Okay, just a sec. Okay, go ahead.
Some discrepancies, we need to review them first.
Just for clarification. Okay, thank you. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. I need one for that.
I will read again, yeah. And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to adopt as presented the agenda of the June 23rd, 2025 regular session of council as amended. I'm sorry, not as
Okay.
presented, as amended.
That's amended. Thank you. Any questions from council? Not, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. That'll take us on to the adoption of the minutes of a regular meeting held on June the 9th. I'll ask for a move and a second to put that motion on the floor for discussion. Moved by Councillor Hyatt, seconded by Councillor Patel. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to adopt as circulated minutes of the regular meeting of council held on June 9th, 2025.
Thank you. Any questions from council, errors or omissions? Seeing none, I'll call a vote. All those in favor of approving those minutes? Opposed? That motion carries. That'll take us to the moment of reflection. I'll ask everyone to please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. That'll take us to the roundtable announcements. And as you know, we rotate this. First on my list tonight is Councillor Patel.
Thank you. Nothing at this time to share.
Okay, thank you. Councillor O'Hara.
I have nothing either.
Thank you. Councillor Welsh.
Tonight.
Wow. And that'll take us to Councillor Hyatt.
Just a congratulations to all those youth and students that are graduating school here in the next week or so. So my first daughter finally made grade 8 graduation. So
Congratulations. Deputy Mayor Field.
I have nothing at this time.
Well, I do have a few items. I attended the Lambton College 58th convocation on Tuesday, June the 10th. It was a great event with a packed crowd. Mr. Kevin Marriott Warden and Mrs. Anne Marie Gillis representing the city of Sarnia. We were also all recognized. I took part with the committee for the selection of the winners for the Nickel Scholarship on Wednesday, June the 11th at LCCVI. It was a very difficult decision with so many qualified students. I also attended the Nickel reception held at the LCCVI to meet the parents and scholarship winners for 2025 on Thursday, June the 12th. I brought greetings and spoke on behalf of council and staff at the LCCVI graduation on Thursday, June the 12th. There was a full house. It was well organized, a great event. And again, this is an annual event that I enjoy each year. I attended the 10th anniversary celebration of the Toastmasters of Petrolia at the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church on Tuesday, June the 10th. I spoke and presented the president with a certificate from council and staff of the town of Petrolia. MPP Bob Bailey and Mayor Gary Atkinson from Petrolia, Wyoming were also present. It was a fun night. I attended the open public house regarding the repaving of First Ave, Petrolia line to 6th Street, and sidewalk replacement on First Ave, 3rd Street, and 5th Street. It also included new sidewalks on 4th and 6th Street. The meeting took place on Monday, June the 6th at 5:30 p.m. Mr. Rick Charlebois, CAO Treasurer, Mrs. Mandy Pearson, Director of Legislative Services, Deputy Operations Clerk, and Mr. Mike Thompson, Director of Operations, and Deputy Mayor Field, and the town engineers were also in attendance. There was only a few residents that came out to ask any questions. I attended the Lambton County Committee meeting held on Wednesday, June the 18th, and will continue to keep council informed. I also attended the Lambton County Audit Committee on Wednesday, June the 18th, and approved the 2024 financial report from the auditors. And I'm pleased to report Lambton County is in great financial shape. I attended the Chamber of Commerce After 5 event on Wednesday, June the 8th, that turned out to be very successful. Mrs. Mandy Pearson, Director of Legislative Services, Deputy Operations Clerk. I attended the drop-in for Mr. Greg Nemchek's retirement at the Kingswell Glen Golf Course on Thursday, June the 19th. And I presented a certificate to Mr. Nemchek on behalf of council and staff, thanking him for his service to the community. Mr. Nemchek was the principal at LCCVI who worked very well with the town of Petrolia, and he will continue until August before he steps down. And just for council's information, I will be changing the seating order for council as of September the 1st. And I want to finish by asking the community again to buy local and Canadian if possible. And that's all I have. That'll move us on now to the appointments for the different committees. We have the Petrolia Heritage Advisory Committee. We have Liz Wealth Ross O'Hara. I know we've removed the minutes. Is there anything you'd like to speak to regarding your meeting? Oh, okay. Thank you. That'll take us on to the Emergency Management Advisory Committee. We have Deputy Mayor Field on that committee, Councillor Chad Hyatt
Councillor Welsh, your worship, that was my error.
instead of
Correct,
Hyatt.
correct.
Okay. So noted, Councillor
Welsh.
Welsh, thank you. Which one of you two would like to speak to those minutes?
Councillor Welsh.
Councillor Welsh, go ahead.
They basically just highlighted any updates that were made to the emergency management plan and the plans for 2025 for some sections that are yet to be completed, and highlighted the training of the team members and going forward with the training of the team members.
All right, thank you for that, Councillor Welsh. And would you like to move those minutes?
Yes,
Be approved.
please.
Moved by Councillor Welsh. Need a seconder? Deputy Mayor Field. Any further discussion regarding those minutes? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. That'll take us to the Lambton Group OPP Detachment Board. We have Deputy Mayor Joel Field, and I'll just ask Councillor Field for an update, please.
Thank you through you, your worship. We had our meeting the other day. Our minutes will actually come in July that we'll be able to speak to, but it was a good meeting, well attended, and we had Blue Water Health do a presentation on Narcan and how to use it. Some of our members have asked with some of the drug issues going on. So yeah, it was a very good meeting, very informative.
Thank you. And we do have a motion here just to approve your update. Would you make that motion,
Sure.
Deputy Mayor Field? Okay, I'll need a seconder for that. Seconded by Councillor Hyatt. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive and file Deputy Mayor Field's update on the Lambton Group OPP Detachment Board meeting held on June 18th, 2025.
Any discussion from council? If not, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. That'll move us on to the Municipal Services and Traffic. We have Deputy Mayor Joel Field and the alternate is Councillor Hyatt. Which one are you gentlemen? Okay, Deputy Mayor Field, go
Yep.
ahead.
Thank you, and through you again. I met with Mr. Thompson and Ms. Pearson and went through the Petrolia water line tender closes tomorrow, which is great. The pre-construction meeting is taking place this week. And the public meeting was held on Monday, as you mentioned, with about 12 to 15 people in attendance for the sidewalks and the First Ave, which I think is going to be an exciting, busy time when the water lines go at the same time. So the east end of Petrolia will be very busy. So other than that, just to mention the wood chipping, compost, and large pickup. The large pickup, I think, was very successful. I think there's more stuff on the road than there was in people's homes, so it's well received as always. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Field, and I think that's a great service for the town. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I thought it went very, very well. Would you like to move that update,
yeah.
Deputy Mayor Field? Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Field, seconded by Councillor Hyatt. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive and file Deputy Mayor Field's verbal update on municipal service happenings.
Any further discussion from council? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. That'll take us to Planning and Development. We have Deputy Mayor Field and Councillor Hyatt. Which one of you gentlemen would like to take the lead? Deputy Mayor Field, go ahead.
Since our last meeting, there hasn't been a lot of updates. Through my schedule conflicts, I haven't been able to meet with the planner, but I did get some verbal items. The site plan for the Legion has been finalized. 411 Wingfield is near completion for theirs, which is very good. And we do have an upcoming DAT meeting in July. So that's
Okay, thank you for that, Deputy Mayor Field. And again, would you like to move that motion for your verbal update? Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Field, seconded by Councillor Welsh. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
That is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive and file Councilor or Deputy Mayor Field's verbal update on planning and develop happenings and the May 2025 permits report as provided by the County of Lambton.
Any discussion from council? If not, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. That'll take us now on to number 11, correspondence for information. We have items A to I. I'll ask for a motion to put that on the floor for discussion. Moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Hyatt. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive and file correspondence items 11A through I.
Any questions from council? Councillor Wells, go ahead.
And the request that we remove C, D, and G for a separate resolution, please.
G, regarding the Warden's Caucus.
C, D, and G.
Oh. C, D, and G. All right, then we'll have a motion to approve the items except for C, D, and G. Any questions from council? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Councillor Wells, do you want to deal with C first?
They're all three can go together.
All together?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor O'Hara. We've received correspondence, whereas we've received correspondence from Rideau Lakes, Kincardine, and the Western Ontario Wardens Caucus in opposition to the strong mayor's powers. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Petrolia acknowledge receipt of correspondence and support, and that a copy of this motion with the recorded vote be sent to them.
Didn't we do that already, though? You just want to
Not
do
for
that again?
this particular municipalities.
Okay.
So I want them all to know that we support them.
Okay. Any discussion from council? All those in favor? Oh, it's a recorded vote. Is that what you wanted to
That's what we've
record?
done the last 2 times. So I was just sticking with the way we've always done it, but
Sure,
it's not
yeah.
necessary if.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I
we'll have
can
a
hear
recorded.
Do I have a seconder, your worship? I apologize.
Yeah, you do. Councilor O'Hara.
Thank you. All right, and so we will prepare for the recorded vote. So outside of alphabetical order, the mover will speak second last and the mayor will be last. We do have Councillor Clark absent. Councillor Hyatt, for or against?
4.
Councillor O'Hara, for or against?
4.
Councillor Patel, for or against? 4. Deputy Mayor Field, for or against?
4.
Councillor Welsh, for or against?
4.
Mayor Loosely, for or against?
4.
That carries, your worship.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll move on to correspondence for consideration motion. There is none at this time. That'll take us to our delegation and presentation. First on our list is Animal Control, Mr. Jeff Dewhurst and Mrs. Carrie Ann Wilson. Would you like to come forward, please? And the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, councilors. This is kind of our year in review that we are asked to do. So I've kind of broken it down into some of the things that we got into this year. So right off the bat, we took 6 dogs into the Humane Society. We took 1 dog to the emergency vet after being hit by a car. We had 32 calls on dogs that could not be located, as it gets pretty tough if it gets on Facebook. They're a lot faster than we are. So, and again, I've had many calls on cats. I just kind of leave those to be. We also get a lot of calls on deer and rabid raccoons this year. The raccoons this year have been bad everywhere with distemper. It's just due to the winter that we had and the summer that we're going to have. So we've been doing a lot of work in that area around Petrolia also. So.
All right, just before I open it up to council, do we normally get involved with the raccoons and deer? We don't normally do that, do we?
The only thing we've done for deer is push them out of yards.
Oh,
We
okay.
haven't really, I mean, it's one of those things where you can't really do much other than push them along.
Right.
But in the 2 cases that we did have, they were elderly couple. And we just kind of helped move the deer along out of their
Okay.
backyards.
All right, I'll just open it up to council. Any questions from council? Councilor O'Hara.
Through you, your worship. Did you say the raccoons were rabid?
So distemper,
Oh,
that's what's down here now.
okay,
So no, there's no case of rabies. That's all kept up Niagara Falls way.
okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that's not harmful to humans at all.
No, but it can be passed on to dogs or cats.
Okay, and that's when they're usually wandering in the day, I think, is it?
And you'll see them out there. They'll just kind of walk in circles. We had one the other day trying to break into the Esso gas station.
He was wearing a mask too, wasn't he? He was wearing a mask, I bet, too. Yeah, nice.
All right, well, thank you for that. Deputy Mayor Field, go ahead.
Through you, just a quick question with the raccoons. A lot of people have issues with them and they trap them. Is that legal for people to trap them themselves and
Again,
release them in Enniskillen?
under the rules of the ministry, if you catch a raccoon, you can move it 1 kilometer,
Okay,
right? Which I think everybody here knows it's going to beat you back to the area.
yeah.
Right? So again, if you're a licensed trapper, you can do something, you can help out. But yeah, the average person should not be moving.
Deputy Mayor Field, go ahead.
Follow up to that. So move it 1 kilometer, is that a suggestion?
That's
Or-
the ministry rule.
Is it, so it's a hardened rule? Okay, yeah.
And again, it's
Okay.
just easier now.
I had a raccoon on my back porch, it's on the rail, on camera, hitting my flower basket. So I don't know if it had an issue or just didn't like flowers, so, yeah. All right, that's it. Thanks.
Again, with a town like this, which is it's nice and tight.
Yeah.
There's lots of bird feeders. you know, that kind of brings them over. And it's baby season for
It's mating season, yeah. It's interesting because they'll travel miles actually to look for a mate or food, but yet the ministry only allows 1 kilometer, I find is interesting.
Well, again, what that is, so nobody can transport that disease.
Okay.
Right, so if we happen to pick up a raccoon with distemper in your area, it gets put down in that area.
Okay,
So it's not being transported from here to Sarnia. So this disease can't be spread around.
makes
That's
sense.
the reason for it.
No, it's good.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, we'll move on. Go ahead.
So I'm going to talk on the dog tags. We went at that quite hard and strong. It was difficult because we tried to do it after work hours and it was getting darker sooner. So we had some challenges to get around. So our final numbers currently to 24 and so far into 25, we're sitting at 689 tags, which is a big increase since last year. We had some issues, which we kind of going into is expected, a little bit of pushback from residents of not understanding why the purpose for dog tags. I felt we kind of tried to mitigate it. I know there was some call-in complaints and also we kind of expected that in this kind of business of forcing people to pay for things they don't see fit. So unfortunately, that comes with the territory of it. We did take note of addresses that we felt had more dogs than should, weren't forthcoming with those numbers, or that were just kind of challenged addresses so that when we call in, that can be tagged into that number so that us, when we go, kind of have a sense of, there could be hostility or any other issues. So we made sure that that kind of stuff was documented and passed on back to you guys too. So any questions?
Before I open it up, I want to thank you because I know it's a thankless job. And I have some experience when I was in Sarnia, they did that. But it is a thankless job. I remember the trick, they'd always ask the neighbor, is there any dogs next door? So by the time they went there, anyway, thank you for doing that. I think it's great for the community. And I think my understanding is we're looking at doing it every other year. Is
We
that
are.
correct, Mrs. Pearson?
Through your worship, yes, that is correct. And we'll also be reallocating the time to the more of a springtime to allow for those extended hours. So yeah, Ms. Wilson and I have kind of communicated on that a bit, but
Good. Thank you, Mrs. Pearson. Okay, I'll open it up to council. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Field.
Yeah, through you. Your representatives were very good. They came, knocked on my door. I was very proud I didn't have a dog to claim, which I was babysitting a dog at the time. And I think I might be on your list. She was
Top.
she was excellent. And I said I didn't have a dog and the dog was sitting right behind me. So
Probably checked off here.
yeah. But no, they did very well. And unfortunately, social media got things fired up and going, and which it doesn't matter what topic, so, but I think you guys did a good job. So thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Field. Any other questions? Councilor O'Hara.
Through you, your worship, is there a penalty if it's blatant that they have a dog and they say, no, I haven't got a dog?
No, and there was, most of the kids that I had or help that we had were teenagers. So I made it really clear, like, don't argue with anybody. There's no point. Take note. And they could be babysitting somebody's dog, you kind of have to take people at face value. And if I felt there was maybe more of an issue, I kind of circled back and had a conversation with the residents at the address to just get a better sense of what might be happening and either left the tag. And I explained to people too that, I can physically see the dog, and I explained that to the helpers as well. Just leave it and say if it isn't your dog, then take the tag back to the town and explain it, and like no harm, no foul, but it's sitting here, so we're just trying to do our job.
Any other questions from council?
And that is, sorry, Mr. Mayor, that has already worked again 3 times already.
So because of the dogs having the ID on them, they didn't have to go to jail. They got to be rehomed, as I explained to people, like this helps you and it helps the animals so that they don't have to have a horrible day driving into the pound and
Oh.
waiting till somebody comes home. So, and it helped me as well and Jeff of knowing there's some distinct animals in town. So you kind of mentally go, oh, that beautiful, whatever lived in this area and it's now running. So it has helped our ability to get animals back quicker as well.
When you mentioned the 600 tags, or roughly 600, is that plus what we already sold, or is that total?
That's my total number.
That's our total number. Yeah. Again, I would hope most dog owners would be responsible enough to, get a tag and look after their animals. The only thing I'd like to request, I appreciate what you've done, but I'd like to, if you possibly could submit those numbers ahead of time so we have a record for it. Okay. Thank you for coming to address council. Great. All right. I'd like to ask Mrs. Ellsworth to come forward, please, regarding our community fund and our Pizza Fest participants. And I'd like to ask Councillor Hyatt if you could go down, please. And you don't have to shake any hands.
All right. So, so the 6 pizza places that participated in Pizza Fest this year sold about 6,500 slices. And through that, they make an annual donation to the Petrolia Community Fund. It's part of the Sarnia Community Foundation. And as far as I understand, it's going into a parks reserve for maintenance on Julie's lands and parks. So, Chad, if you want to.
Yeah. And I'll just mention the reason Councillor Hyatt is coming forward is he sits on the Parks and Recreation and Community Centers Board. So you don't have to get too close.
Why am I sitting beside him?
Would you like to come forward? I'll ask Mrs. Bullock to come forward too, if that's okay. And again, Mrs. Bullock is the Parks and Recreation Director.
Oh,
Very good. Very good.
Now, would you like to say a few words?
Good pizza.
Speak right into the mic if you can, please, because this meeting is recorded. Okay. Oh, no, okay.
Sure.
$1,630 on behalf of the 6 participating pizza restaurants, so Domino's, Godfather's, Johnny G's, Petrolia Pizza and Subs, Petrolia Pizza Hut, and Wise Guys.
That's great news. Is Mike, do you want to say a few words? Yeah, sure.
Well, thank you very much. Through you, your worship, it's great to be here. I know Irene was here not too long ago
Right.
doing our community impact grants. I was away playing pickleball, but that's another story. Things are happening at the foundation. We've expanded. We've had an extremely good year last year, and we've hired a fund developer, and we were out last week at the Boomers Lunch, one of the last Boomers Lunch. And to tie in another thing that happened at the foundation where you were at, Bertha Rose Park, I believe she's from the Inwood area. She was actually at the Boomers Lunch and did some clogging. So at a Spry 92, we at the foundation were extremely excited to have her as a Woman of Excellence. So thank you very much. And I'd be more than happy to come back maybe in the fall and do a little talk about the fund and how things are working out. But Amy Vasey's our fund developer, and has 3 kind of goals. She'll be hopefully assisting with some supportive housing, possibility fundraising there, the community fund, and then looking at the number of scholarships that have already been initiated and continue to grow. So things are really, really happening at the foundation, and it's great to be out here and have you as a partner in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next on my list is, it's really, pardon me?
Marissa.
Oh, Larissa, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just to take a picture.
Oh. All
Did
right.
you want to come on down?
Oh.
I might have told a little fib to get someone here, so we have to work out that for a second.
Well, I just want to thank Larissa and staff. It was my honor at this time to ask Les Whiting to come forward, please. Now, we've tried to keep this really quiet, and everyone knows Les is our town crier and is involved with Karen in many, many events. But it's my pleasure, on behalf of the town of Petrolia and the province, to give you the 2025 Senior of the Year Award to Mr. Les Whiting, the town of Petrolia, sung by the Honorable Raymond Cho and the others and the mayor. So congratulations. Want to come up for a picture? Come on up, get a picture.
It's a double fake out. She's actually the senior of the year.
She even dresses up for the town crier events as well.
She keeps less in line.
That's right.
I'll say a few words last. Okay, and I'll give you this to take.
Does he want to say a few words? Do you need that?
Mr. Mayor said that they kept this quiet, but they kept it so quiet that I didn't even know about it. So first of all, I'd like to thank the council, I guess, whoever gets to vote who the senior of the year is. I'm hardly old enough to be a senior. I haven't even turned 80 yet, although I'm sneaking up on it. And this helps a lot with I've been feeling kind of guilty lately because I've taken all the good jobs that younger people should be doing, but because I'm kind of blocked in the way, they want to be chairman of the Committee of Adjustment, but they can't because I'm there. They want to be on the board of directors for the Petrolia fridge. They can't because I'm there. They want to be bingo chairman for Rotary. They can't because I'm there. They want to be on the wine or the Scotch Tasters Club, but they can't because I'm in the way. And the same is true with the St. Andrews Society and town crier, of course. I've been town crier for 25 years. And I was quite proud. Somebody mentioned the term Gananoque lately. 2 weeks ago, I drove to Gananoque and back to take part in the Ontario Provincial Town Crier Championships. I didn't win the competition, but in a manner of speaking, when you get to drive halfway across or 3/4 of the way across the province and present the town of Petrolia as the lovely place it is in front of the world, so to speak, because it's heavily populated by the gentlemen and ladies of the press and the warden of the county, the mayor of the city, and so on and so on. I was pleased to find out that the mayor of Gananoque knows all about the Petrolia contribution to the oil industry. By the way, I'm on the board of directors of Petroleum Discovery as well. And so I went there with a bunch of data intending to impress him, and he was already impressed because he looked into it. So on behalf of the council, mayor and council, it's traditional that the crier delivers to the mayor of the host municipality some gift from the municipality from which you come. So on your behalf, I presented some literature, printed literature books on the oil industry, and they are now in the Gananoque library, I assume, having been poured through by the mayor of the city of Gananoque. So anyway, they say no good deed ever goes unpunished, right? So you can drive 1,551 kilometers to Gananoque and back to promote your town. I got about from here to the parking lot from home and was stopped by the local constabulary and given a speeding ticket. So I thought, all right, the world is an organized place. no good deed ever goes unpunished. You didn't ask, but speaking of good deeds, the town of Petrolia is wonderful, as is the community, of course. When we had the outbreak of violence, stupidity, I would call it, except you're not allowed to use that word anymore at Discovery, about 96 windows were broken. Who's going to fix them? Okay, I will. So I'm now 89/96 of the way to the finish of that job. So there's at least one piece of glass between every inside of every building and every outside. I installed four more today and brought four more home for renovation when I get a chance to. Anyway, so thank you very much. I shall put this in a place of honor. I'll kind of blur out the senior part and say middle-aged with 40 years experience. Thank you very much. This is a great honor. And I'm glad to be
Thank
part
you,
of
lads. Yeah. There's an old saying, if you want something done, you ask busy people. Anyway, I'll move on. Next on the agenda, we have a delegation from Comrade Deborah Walker and President Robert White. And this is regarding the sidewalks. And I'll ask them to come forward, please. And we'll deal with the sidewalks first.
You're going to switch that?
Oh, sorry. No, we'll do the street signage first. Sorry, street signage first. Thank you, Mrs. Pearson. Got so many notes here.
Thank you very much, Mayor Loosely, council, staff, and community members. Our first item on the agenda is for, on behalf of the Petrolia Legion Branch 216, we're asking for consideration for additional Legion directional street signage in the following areas. One is at Petrolia Line in Greenfield, one is at Petrolia Line in Princess, one is at Princess and Dufferin. And this will complete the existing signage with the addition of the Princess signage that will give best address access to people in the community, like some people I know's husbands that need a little extra guidance to get to the location, and our visitors and of course our veterans. So we look forward to your confirmation on the and next step to take. And basically what this will do is it will give us good visibility and direction from either the east or the west side of our town.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Walker. I'll open it up to council if you have any questions. We do have that report that we've already had a chance to look it over. Any questions from council regarding their request? No? With Deputy Mayor Field.
Thank you, through your worship. Thank you for your presentation. I don't see this to be a big issue, and I guess I should have wrote it up before, but I would make a motion that we support this and move it forward. I think it's three corners with working with Mr. Thompson and Public Works. I think this is totally a doable item.
I agree. I do. I need a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Hyatt. Any further discussions? All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. So that will be done.
I appreciate you very much for your consideration.
Okay. Now for our next item, again from Comrade Deborah Walker and President Robert White. And again, this is in regards to the installation of the commemorative sidewalk. And council did receive a copy that you have in front of you. I'll open it up, Deb, if you'd like to speak to it first, and then I'll open it up to council for any questions.
Thank you, Mayor Lucy. And council, I do apologize for not having this a little bit earlier, but this old girl is moving 4 streets away. So at 71, I tend to be a little.
Good support.
So what I have presented to you is just a basic package of the directives that came from the Ontario Command, just so that is the next level up from the local Legion area, with the suggestion that local branches and communities look at these commemorative sidewalks, commemorative walkways, for the purpose of recognizing those who have served and who've sacrificed for our country. As a new kid on the block and newly involved with Legions, this to me was a very excellent initiative and one that I felt I can't imagine this community not imbibing upon. So on your first sheet, basically that's what came from the Ontario Command as a suggestion as how to approach this issue. So the Petrolia Legion would like to ask for your consideration for it to add a commemorative walkway on the cement in front of the Victoria Park Cenotaph. Many communities are adding the crosswalks on road surfaces, and the examples of that is Aurelia, Bradford, the town of New Tecumseh, with the umbrella of doing that in 3 of their areas, which is Alliston, Beaton, and Tottenham. And the third sheet that you see there will be the motion that the town of the New Tecumseh has passed. And that, by the way, that initiative did not come from the Legion of any of those 3 communities. It came from council. Actually, it came from the deputy mayor. So the reason that the suggestion has come forward to put this commemorative walkway in a different location other than a roadway are 3 reasons. And the first reason is to lower the maintenance of the painted surface once that job is completed. The second one is that there's no street wear and tear when you add something, as you are noticing, because you have wonderful walkways already, but they're on streets and they do require extra maintenance. But I honestly believe that the good positive visual effect for both the Legion and the town is the highlighting of our cenotaph and, biasly, this wonderful building called Victoria Hall. So when you have that standing behind it, really was I believe, a really good statement. So we hope that you agree with this request and will work with us to facilitate the cost and the facilitation of this and the installation of this, as other municipal councils have already done, as supported by the documentation that I put in front of you. Just a point of interest in next year in 2026, as our president has informed me, it is the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Legion. So the timing for this project to be done and completed would be excellent for some additional media coverage, which I'm sure Ms. Larissa will be able to help greatly with. And that kind of coverage would be good for everyone. So we look forward to your positive response and directive. We thank you for your support in honoring those who have served, in those who are in service now, and for our young people that will have to be our future. So at this time, I would like to ask these lovely ladies in the back just to stand, please.
Want to introduce them? Sure.
These are 2 members of our Legion. And I wanted them to stand and come forward to you because I have been honored to be also the Poppy Chair for our campaign. And I think it's important that we all realize that veterans are not on crosses, veterans are not in graves. Veterans walk with us every day and are members of our community. So the people that you see standing behind me are people that have served. Robert has served many times. There are volunteers that have given all unbelievable amounts of time for themselves, with Jean here. And then Laura, her husband, and has been part of this organization, and she's the head of Our Ladies Auxiliary at the Legion. So all of these people give countless amounts of hours to keep our memories of our soldiers alive. And I think under our world circumstances that we have, unfortunately, right now in front of us, we are very important to be able to salute them. So I thank you very much for coming in and being a part of this. I feel very, very grateful to be a part of you as well. So if there's any other comments or I can help you at all understand this package I've given to you, the last page that you're going to see on here is my suggestion for where the templates can go. The sheets there are the templates. So the template comes from the Ontario Command. The template is a 5 compass. So it's going to be a white surface. It's going to be a gray surface. It's going to be black lettering at the bottom, and then the overlay will be red with a ceiling on top of it. It's basically 5 applications of some kind of a painted surface. Our suggestion is to take it from the sidewalk at the front of the cenotaph up to the big, large piece of cement just directly in front of the cenotaph. All of those would be under the white surface, including the white surface in front of the cenotaph. The only thing that we templated would be from the sidewalk to that particular white piece. The reason for that is so that when Remembrance Day services come, any services come, there's a division between the walkway and the cenotaph out of respect for the cenotaph itself. Robert and I have, he had to put up with my measuring. Not easy. We discovered that the template has to be repeated 3 times. So there will be 3 different outlays of the 2 stripes and 3 out of the maple leaves, with only a gray strip at the bottom and a gray strip at the top. So that's what the suggestion is, and I think that it makes a very positive and supportive statement to our veterans that are present with us now and have passed with us in the past.
Okay, thank you for that, Mrs. Walker. And again, I apologize if I've missed this, just so I'm clear on this. Are we talking about a shared project here with the town and the Legion?
Oh, we're hoping not, no.
And do you have any idea of the cost, or did I miss that?
The only cost through the mayor to actually to our deputy, the deputy mayor, he confirmed, asked me that question. The only number figure that I do have is the one that the town of Tecumseh has initiated with 3 walkways, and that was $1,000. So I'm not sure exactly how much. You're really 5 surfaces of paint in a very short period of surface. And President White has also alluded to Deputy Mayor Field that to do our building was $1,000 for the whole building. So
Thank
we're
you.
hoping that it's possible.
And again, you're looking at having council,
Sorry.
you're looking at having council approve this motion that's in here now.
That would be appreciated if that's possible.
I think council, we haven't had a lot of time, but we can discuss it. Deputy Mayor Field, I think you're first.
Thank you. Excellent presentation. You answered all my questions. You were able to give Robert a couple jabs at the same time. I appreciate that. And
Very important as a new kid on the block.
it is, it's very good. And thank you all for what you do. I think this is an excellent project. When I saw where it's a perfect spot. It's 100% the perfect spot. I support this wholeheartedly. The $1,000 you said is very recent and comparable. And for $1,000, for $2,000, I would support a motion to make this work, and that this be a project and a gift that we can give to the Legion for their anniversary next year.
So we could just change the wording here,
And-
have include the town of Petrolia, and we could add maybe the amount in there, or for the town.
Well,
to
I
proceed
think
with
that
the
we
pay-
can work, I think it explains that we can work with them. And I think Mandy has worked the motion pretty well there.
Okay.
Um,
All right, I'll need a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Patel. Now I'll open it up for discussion. Councillor Welsh.
Just a question for the Legion folks. Would you prefer that it is done in advance of Remembrance Day for this year, or early, I guess, since you may want to start your celebrations in January for next year, I guess maybe fall might be the best time?
Councillor Welsh, through the mayor, our president will like to answer that question.
I have been in contact with St. Croix Memorials. They are placing the 2 memorials that we asked for permission to place sometime this year. It would be nice if we could do this in conjunction with, so that this is our gift to the Legion's 100th anniversary prior to. The Ontario Command has been in existence 100 years already. We started before Canada started. So next year in Winnipeg will be the 100th anniversary celebration, but I'd like to get it started as soon as we can.
I think that'd be a great idea. Any other questions from council? So do you have something prepared, Mrs. Pearson, that you can kind of read here?
Well, your worship, Deputy Mayor Field did provide me the example that was provided from New Tecumseh, and we've done some cut and paste here. So
Okay.
I had to put my glasses on to read it though.
Well, I think,
Very
I don't know if we need to read it all or not. Does council wish to have it read? You've got a copy in front of you. Did you want it read?
Yes, just
Councillor Hyatt.
the one thing for me is that if we're gonna do it, let's make sure we do it right. So let's do surface preparation on the concrete, so that the paint's gonna stick and it's not gonna peel off
Oh,
within
good
a
point.
couple of years. So let's just, so if we have to spend a few more dollars to make sure
Get it
that
ready.
we're,
No, I agree with
we're
that
doing it
too.
proper, then I think we should spend a few more dollars to do it properly.
I'll read it. I'm
Okay.
happy to read it.
All right, I'll have Mrs. Pearson read this, so we're all clear.
Whereas the town of Petrolia, having a rich history in the Canadian Armed Forces and continuously strives to recognize the sacrifice of veterans and their families, and whereas honoring our veterans and soldiers who paid the ultimate sacrifice serves as a poignant reminder of the costs of war and the importance of remembering those who have fought for freedom and peace. And where it is incumbent that we continue to discuss, recognize, and honor their sacrifice and contributions to the peace and freedoms that exist today. And whereas within the town of Petrolia, we have the Legion number 216. Our Legion has an exceptional job serving our veterans, promoting remembrance and supporting our community. Petrolia is proud and thankful that we have this striving Legion in our community. And whereas it is incumbent on everyone to educate younger generations about history, the impact of war, the value of freedom, and the importance of peace and reconciliation as it fosters national pride and unity when we remember our shared histories and values. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Public Works Department paint a Veterans Crosswalk at Victoria Park and that the cost to paint the crosswalk be funded from the 2025 operating budget and that the crosswalk be painted on the walkway leading to the Victoria Park cenotaph.
And that'll include all the necessary preparation. Deputy Mayor Field.
Just a suggestion, would that be the Parks and Rec because it's within the park, over the works? Or I know we'll all work together, but
Mr. Thompson, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Through Julie and I have been talking before council started, and I think between the two of us, I mean, we could prep the sidewalk with the pressure washer. We could work together with Larissa and get the stencil, and yeah, we'd be able to figure it out.
okay, all right.
Collectively.
Okay, great.
All right,
Yeah.
great. Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
you.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Pearson. Oh, sorry, Councillor Patel.
Thank you. Through you, just a comment with all the crosswalk work that has been done in my term of council. This has been a missing, and I'm glad that it's finally before council today and something that's moving forward. This is a wonderful project and glad that I was here to say a big yes on moving forward with this project with the council.
Thank you, Councillor Patel. All right, we have a move and a second. The motion's on the floor. Any further discussion? We'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for coming to address council.
Thank you very much on behalf of the Legion.
That'll move us on to the community announcements, recognitions, and awards. You have a motion before you. I'll ask for a move and a second to put that on the floor for discussion. Moved by Councillor Hyatt, seconded by Councillor Patel. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive as information only the June 23rd, 2025 community announcements as presented.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Mrs. Ellsworth, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just that the next 2 weeks in Petrolia are shaping up to be a lot of fun. So come out and join us and bring your family. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. This will take us to the first opportunity for anyone wishing to address council. Anyone wishing to address council? If not, we'll move on to the financial accounts. We have a mover and we have a motion on the floor. It will be. I need a mover and a seconder to put that on for discussion. Councillor Welsh, seconded by Councillor Hyatt. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive and file the May 3rd, 2025 through June 17, 2025 general financial account.
Any other questions from council? Councillor Hyatt.
Just one question that maybe we can get some feedback from the YMCA on the operating fees for May of 2025, which is roughly 300% higher than the operating fees in January, February, March, April of 2025.
Yeah, we discussed this before. Mr. Charlebois, can you address that? I know we were trying to get some information on that regarding the YMCA's increase.
Yeah, I think that was for some earlier months.
Those the earlier ones were maybe $7,000, but this one is like $75,000. So it's significant.
The Y's in the process of sending me a response, but the main reasons were two things. One was May. There's actually 2 months per year where there's actually 3 pays in a month. So May's and their system is when they had 3 pays. And the other one is they had a fair bit of work done on the HVAC in May over at the Y. So we're reviewing those bills to see whether they should be capitalized or whether they should be operating expenses. But the HVAC at the Y is 2006. So what's that? It's 20 years old almost. And Julie, what's that?
Okay, no, that's fine. I think when you do hear back, you can always report anything further. Is that acceptable? Councillor Hyatt?
I'm fine with the report back.
All right. Any other questions regarding the accounts? I know Councillor Clark is not present who does go through the accounts each time. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed, that motion carries. That'll take us on to 16B. And note that Deputy Mayor Field has declared a conflict of interest. I'll ask for a move and a second to put those accounts on. Moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Hyatt. Any discussion from council regarding those accounts? Seeing none, I'll call a vote. All those in favor? Opposed, that motion carries. And noted that Deputy Mayor Field is back in his seat. That'll take us now to administration. We have a report from Miss Jessica Smith, Manager of Legislative Services, Deputy Clerk, Human Resource Manager, regarding business licenses and sign permits issued until June 2025. There is a motion before you. I'll ask for a move and a seconder to put that on the floor for discussion. Moved by Deputy Mayor Field, seconded by Councillor Hyatt. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive and file the Manager of Legislative Services, Deputy Clerk, and Human Resource Manager's report dated June 23rd, 2025 regarding the business license and signage permits issued to date.
Any questions from council? Ms. Smith, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Nothing at this time, thanks, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. I'm pleased to see things moving at a time when a lot of housing development right now is not moving too quickly. I'll call the vote. All those in favor of approving that motion? Opposed? That motion carries. We also have a report from Ms. Jessica Smith, Manager of Legislative Services, Deputy Clerk, Human Resources Manager, regarding the Committee of Adjustment June meeting. And there's a motion before you. I'll ask for a move and a second to put that on the floor for discussion. Moved by Councillor Hyatt, seconded by Councillor O'Hara. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive and file the report of the Manager of Legislative Services, Deputy Clerk, Human Resource Manager, Jessica Smith, dated June 23rd, 2025, regarding the April 2025 Committee of Adjustment meeting.
Thank you. Any discussion from council? Again, Ms. Smith, I'll ask if there's anything you'd like to add.
Nothing to add except a thank you to our chair because he's sitting right here.
Thank you. I'll call the vote. All those in favor of approving that? Opposed? That motion carries. That'll take us on to, we've got a report from Mrs. Mandy Pearson, Director of Legislative Services, Deputy Operations Clerk, regarding the site plan amendment SPA completed under delegated authority in June 2025. I'll ask, you've got a motion before you. I'll ask for a move and a second to put that on the floor for discussion. Moved by Councillor Welsh, seconded by Councillor Hyatt. And I mean, that's good news. And that's in related to the Royal Canadian Legion Brands 216 and their site plan agreement. Any discussion from council? If not, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. That'll take us on to, we have Marketing, Arts and Communication. We have a report from Mrs. Larissa Ellsworth, Director of Arts and Communication. And you have a motion before you or on your sheet. I'll ask for a move and a seconder to put that on the floor for discussion. Moved by Councillor Patel, seconded by Councillor O'Hara. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive and file the report of the Director of Marketing, Arts and Communication dated June 23rd, 2025 regarding the Victoria Playhouse Petrolia receives a financial gift.
And that is great news. I mean, and again, for those present, that's for $34,188, which is great to go towards our future project on this facility. Any questions from council? And again, Mrs. Ellsworth, did you like to add anything? I mean, it's great news, but go ahead.
I did a little looking, and Mr. Carson McIntosh has been a patron since 1993. So he was with us for a very long time. So this gift meant a lot to us, of course. Yes.
That's great news. That's good. Thank you. All right, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. That'll take us to operations. We have a report from Mr. Mike Thompson, Director of Operations, regarding the preliminary engineering for King Street construction. You do have a motion before you. I'll ask again for a move and a second to put that on the floor for discussion. Moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Deputy Mayor Field. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive the report of the Director of Operations dated June 23rd, 2025, regarding preliminary design for reconstruction of King Street, and that Mandy Pearson, Director of Legislative Services, Deputy Operations, and Clerk be authorized to sign the Municipal Engineering Agreement, MEA.
Thank you, Mrs. Pearson, and I think that's good news to move ahead. Any questions for Council? Councillor Hyatt.
My question is, sorry, through you, maybe to Director, is just where the hydro utilities will be relocated. Like, is there enough space to get them off the street?
Mr. Thompson, would you speak to that, please?
Your worship, yes, the poles will be shifted to the west, and there is enough room between the property line and the sidewalk to have those poles relocated, correct?
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I'm also really very pleased that Blue Water Power, Mr. Charlebois and I were at the meeting, and they're going to work with us at moving those poles, which is great news for us. Any other questions from council? Mr. Thompson, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Again, we have a report again from Mr. Mike Thompson, Director of Operations, the preliminary engineering for Hickory and School Streets reconstruction. You have a motion with your agenda. I'll ask for a move and a second to put that on the floor for discussion. Moved by Councillor Welsh, seconded by Councillor Hyatt. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the Council of the Town of Petrolia to receive the report of the Director of Operations dated June 23rd, 2025, regarding preliminary design for reconstruction of Hickory and School Streets, and that Mandy Pearson, Director of Legislative Services, Deputy Operations, and Clerk be authorized to sign the Municipal Engineering Agreement, MEA.
Thank you. Any discussion from council? Again, I'll add sorry, Councillor Hyatt, go ahead.
Just one question through you, again, maybe to Director, is on this project, there's additional geotechnical work that's not required on the King Street project. I'm just wondering what the differences between the two streets are that maybe are causing the additional work. Maybe that goes to Lydia.
Mr. Thompson, can you deal with that, please?
Yeah, through your worship, was there not geotechnical on King Street as well?
There is on King Street, but there's two additional items.
Oh, the additional, okay, yeah, sorry.
Roughly $10,000 in change, maybe. Maybe it's a question for Lydia.
Do you want to leave that with you, or can you speak to that?
Well, the one additional item is the land survey, through your worship. Back a couple years ago, we did some preliminary design on King Street, and we got a survey done. Hickory and School has not been surveyed yet. That's the $6,700. And what's the other one you're referring to, Councillor Hyatt?
There was a line items that said geotechnical testing of existing soil conditions, which wasn't required on King Street, and the other one was the engineering design of granular road base and asphalt base on local soil conditions. So maybe there was some engineering work that was already done on King Street in advance.
Mr. Thompson, go
After
ahead.
you, your worship, we could maybe ask Lydia Comley, she's here from Miser Engineering, to maybe comment on that.
Would you come forward, Ms. Conley, please? Just so we're clear on this, so you're asking why it's not on the other road and it's only
just
on
the
the
difference
one?
between the two, just so we.
Yeah,
have an
can you speak to
understanding.
that, please?
Your worship. Preliminary design was completed started on King Street back in 2021, I believe, by MIG Engineering. And at the time, MIG did complete the topographic survey, and they had EXP complete bore holes for the purpose of pavement design. What was not completed at the time, because excess soil regulations weren't in place, so EXP didn't do soil testing for the purpose of excess soil. They had only done boreholes for geotechnical, for the asphalt design, et cetera. So the additional charge that or cost that you see on School and Hickory, it's because no preliminary design was ever done. And like Mike said, the survey was not complete, geotechnical wasn't complete, and neither was excess soil testing. So those are all included on Hickory and School, whereas the geotech and survey was done on King Street previously.
You okay with that?
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conley, for coming forward. Any other questions from council? We've read that motion. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. That'll bring us now to the second opportunity for the public to address council. And I'd like to ask Miss Lydia Calmy to come forward again, please. And I think this is in regards to our bylaw, council's bylaw number 22 of 2025. If you'd like to speak to that, or do you want to, Mr. Thompson, do you want to?
Your Worship, the agenda went out on Friday or Thursday afternoon, and Councillor Hyatt and Councillor Wells had some questions regarding that. So we thought, discussion with you, this would be the best opportunity for the two councillors to ask Lydia some questions regarding the bylaw. As you know, the bylaw, the sewer use bylaw was in the municipal code back in the day, and it was 2 pages. And I know you know about that. And yeah, so this is long overdue. And we've been working with Lydia for the last couple months to create this new bylaw. So yeah, she's here to comment on the question.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. So I will turn it over to Councillor Hyatt. Do you have some questions in regarding that bylaw that you'd like to ask Mrs. Calmley?
I did. I've been provided the answers, but I'll ask the questions anyways, just so everyone else can.
Okay,
hear the
sure.
question. So my questions were related to paying for a sewer fee, although not being provided a sewer service. So it said, the question was section 2.2, 2.15, and 2.16. All detail that if a sewer connection is not used, whether it's temporary, permanent, or exempted for use, the owner is still responsible for a minimum monthly sewer charge, even though the service is not being used.
Right.
And just getting some reasoning as to why that was included in the bylaw.
I think that's always been in there before, whether you really.
Yeah, I tried to find an online copy of this lovely green book, but it doesn't exist. So I wasn't able to read the
I
previous.
think that was 1992, I think, or 93, but okay.
1992.
Okay.
So that was my question. I've been provided the answer. So.
Okay, so you're okay with that? I'll go on down to Councillor Wells. Do you have a question? And that will be through me, please.
Through you. I also had several questions. I'm going to get past Councillor Hyatt's first. So I was just wondering why section 3.2, why the municipality was not responsible to provide cleanouts, and are cleanouts required in a development agreement? I didn't see them as a requirement. And is it not in the municipality's best interest to install these when doing newer maintenance work on sanitary sewers? So I did get an answer, but if you want to tell everyone for the benefit of the room, the answer to that question.
Ms. Comley, go ahead.
Worship.
Yeah.
My response to that question is that the town does proactively as part of reconstruction projects, the town does install both sanitary and storm cleanouts at the property lines at that time, because there's obviously equipment there already digging up the road and potentially replacing the underground. So it's cost efficient and effective to do it at that time. New development projects, it is a requirement for new developers to put sanitary and storm cleanouts at the property line as well. For commercial industrial properties, same thing through the site plan agreement process. They are required to provide cleanouts in the form of manholes at the property line for both sanitary and storm. In terms of installing them, going through town and installing them proactively, there's a significant cost to kind of and disruption to residents to go house to house and install them where they're not currently, when it's not part of a reconstruction project. So, eventually as reconstructions happen and new developments, eventually Petrolia will have cleanouts on every street. But to get there, if you were doing them proactively, it'd be a big cost to the town to go house to house and a big disruption. And honestly, cleanouts are used only when there's a problem. And if I'm correct, Mike, we don't have a lot of issues in town with backups, et cetera, that would require going out proactively to install cleanouts or, CCTV services, et cetera. So.
Thank you. Councillor Wells, do you have another question?
So some of the other questions I had sort of, you already answered in that answer. And some of the other questions I had was who was responsible for what, and I'm not going to make you go into detail and all that because I do understand the answers to the questions here. And I guess I had asked about sink carburetors because it does imply that garbage grinders are not permitted, and so I'd asked about carburetors, but they are permitted.
Yes, so sorry, for your worship.
Go ahead.
The intent of that clause was more for commercial industrial properties instead of actually disposing and paying to dispose of their garbage. They actually put them in a grinder and kind of put them down the sewers. Not an issue that I'm aware of in Petrolia, but the intent here was to cover if that becomes an issue or if industry comes to town and you find that they're doing it, that there's recourse for preventing that. So food carburetors, people aren't putting, cardboard boxes and, they're putting food waste down there is typically soft and has the consistency of other things that go down the sewer. So it's not a concern, but obviously if a commercial or industrial property was grinding up garbage and if large chunks and debris could cause a serious issue.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from council? Mr. Thompson, go ahead.
Yeah, just to expand on Lydia's first point through you, we don't have very many sewer backups in town. There's maybe 8 to 12 calls a year after hours generally. That's generally when it happens, of course. The guys do a great job. We have some records back at the shop from contractors back in the day, and they have measurements off the corner of the house. I explained to Councillor Welsh prior to the meeting, we go out there and measure and do our best to find a clean out if there is one. By chance, if there's an issue with the lateral on town side of the property line, if we are digging it up and repairing a belly in a pipe or any kind of root or something like that, we proactively install a clean out while the excavation is open, obviously for future use, and then the fellows can take advantage of that clean out down the road. But we don't have a lot of sewer backups. Generally speaking, if there is a sewer backup at a residence, we check the clean out, and then if the clean out's clear, then it's the homeowner's responsibility. So more times than not, it's closer to the house in the plumbing, so we don't have a lot of issues.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Councillor Welsh.
Just one last thing is after we pass this bylaw, if we could have a bit of an education piece go out, because not everyone has a natural fixation on infrastructure like me. And much of this wouldn't, people could be contravening this, not even knowing they're doing it. I'm sure I'm guilty of dumping something down the storm drain at some point before I knew all the ins and outs.
Yeah, I think we could have staff do that or put some just simplified items just to let the public know. I think that's a good idea. Thank you, Councillor Welsh. We will do that. Any other questions from council? Ms. Calmey, thank you for coming to address council. That'll move us on now to the new and unfinished business.
Your worship, I did have one item of new business come forward just before we began our council meeting, and that is a resident concern related resolution from Councillor Welsh.
Okay, would you like to speak to that, or
Yeah,
what
would
is
you
that
like me
about?
to read this?
I have it
myself.
as well. Yeah, I could.
I didn't know what the
Yeah.
procedure is.
Whichever you wish, your worship.
I'll have the clerk read that,
Okay.
please.
So whereas I, Councillor Welsh, have received correspondence from a resident with concerns that our pool enclosure bylaw contradicts some building and fire code requirements. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Petrolia requests that the Chief Building Official return to Council at the July 15th Council meeting with information relating to the concerns raised that some requirements contradict building and fire code, such as any window that opens into a pool enclosure area must be made that it cannot be open more than 4 inches, and that a copy of the concerns in whole received from the resident will be forwarded to the CBO, the Chief Building Official, and that as part of the clerk's current review of the fencing bylaw, as part of the municipal code dissection, that the pool fence bylaw also be returned to council for review and amendment to remain current to today's needs, and that messaging begin being distributed through the town's communication tools regarding pool fencing.
That's a good idea. You're making that motion?
I am.
Okay, I'll need a seconder for that, seconded by Councillor Hyatt. I'll open it up for discussion. Any discussion from council? Everyone's clear on that?
Apologies for it being so late, but I didn't receive the correspondence until later this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Pearson. Anything else?
I know, your worship.
Okay, that'll move us on to bylaws. I'll ask for a motion to have the bylaws read, or sorry, a first and second time or approved. Moved by Councillor O'Hara, seconded by Deputy Mayor Field. We don't read that. Any discussion regarding those two bylaws? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. And I'll ask the clerk, well, I'll get a motion first to have the bylaws read a third time, finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered. Moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Patel. I'll ask the clerk to read those bylaws, please.
And that is bylaw number 22 of 2025, being a bylaw of the Corporation of the Town of Petrolia to regulate the installation and maintenance of sanitary and storm sewers contributing to the corporation's sewers, prohibit, regulate, and define inspection requirements for the discharge of waste into the corporation's sewer works, be read a third time and finally passed. And that bylaw number 22 of 2025, being a bylaw of the Corporation of the Town of Petrolia,
They say numbers.
20, did I say 22? Sorry, 23 of
Yeah.
2025, being a bylaw of the Corporation of the Town of Petrolia to confirm the resolutions and motions of the Council of the Town of Petrolia, which were adopted up to and including June 23rd, 2025, be read a third time and finally passed.
So note the second bylaw number is 23, not 22. Okay, any discussion regarding those bylaws? To be read a third time, finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. And I'll ask for a motion to adjourn until July 14th, moved by Councillor O'Hara, seconded by Deputy Mayor Field. I'll ask the clerk to read that motion, please.
And that is for the June 23rd, 2025 meeting of the Council of the Town of Petrolia, be adjourned to the next regular scheduled meeting of council to be held on Monday, July 14th, 2025, or to call the chair.
And before I call the vote, I want to congratulate the Legion sitting there with their suit coats on when it's 100 degrees. I want to tell you, this is the first time in 7 years I've ever been mayor and not wore my suit coat. So anyway, all those in favor of adjournment? Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.